Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert Camo, big episode. We are talking about bounce back running backs, guys that had a down year in 2020. Are they going to bounce back and have a good year and meet expectations this year? Saquon Barkley, guys like Zeke Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon. We're going to talk about these guys right here, right now. Again, before I do, guys, smash that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Takes 2 seconds of your time. Really helps me. I'm out here delivering on a high level for you guys so you guys succeed. My mission is that you guys win. And, of course, get the 16-round draft solution. Guys, fantasy football is here. The NFL draft is tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this. I'm beyond excited. Super excited. Fantasy football, full flow now. Get the 16-round draft solution. First ever and only video training going to help you guys crush your leagues. Draft kits are dead. Squash the cheat sheets. Squash the magazines. Squash the four-letter network bullshit. Cookie cutter analysis, guys. This is the game changer. Head on over right now, guys, to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Or simply link here below. Get 16 rounds, guys. It is the game changer, and I'm beyond excited. Fantasy's here. All right, so we're going to have an open discussion. I'm not going to organize this in top five, forget that. Let's just talk bounce back players. I've got some stats here, got some players' names I want to talk about a little bit, and my feelings towards them, and then you guys can weigh in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think. Are they going to bounce back? Are they the real deal? What your thoughts are on that, okay? So first of all, there's guys like Zeke, obviously Saquon I want to talk about a little bit. But the guy I want to talk about here, there's a couple guys actually I want to talk about. Todd Gurley, LeVeon Bell, David Johnson, okay? Now, last year, David Johnson still did okay. He was injured a couple games, finished 21st amongst running backs. Listen, David Johnson had that big year 2016. He had injuries throughout the seasons. Last year only played 12 games. Todd Gurley, we had the knee issue, the arthritis. Last year was put in a position where he could have really thrived, had the career year with Atlanta. Busted, completely busted. I take ownership for that. I was drafting him. He was one of the guys I recommended a little bit off because I thought he had more juice left, but he was limited to 195 attempts. Number one attempts, but they kept putting in Brian, this guy sucks, Hill, and Ito, this guy sucks even more, Smith, right? So these guys were getting in their reps. Like Brian Hill came in, got one rushing touchdown, but he was getting 100 attempts. That's too much. Those 100 attempts could have gone to Todd Gurley, who was completely limited on the Falcons, who the Falcons as a whole had a bad year. So we're talking about bounce back running backs. For Todd Gurley, David Johnson, LeVeon Bell. LeVeon Bell was a guy that I never thought was good anyway. His patient running style was very ugly to watch, but was very viable on an offense that allowed it, which was the Steelers, who gave him time with a good O-line, and they had Antonio Brown and Juju and all the other wide receivers distracting the defenses. And it was like things opened up for LeVeon Bell. When he went on the Jets, I'm like, don't draft me. Yet the mainstream told you to draft him in round one throughout those years, okay? So now LeVeon Bell is an absolute disaster no matter where he ends up, whether it be on Kansas City, wherever he is, it doesn't really matter because he sucks. And I was telling you that he was a product of the offense. So LeVeon Bell last year, 82 attempts, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. So when you look at guys like Todd Gurley, LeVeon Bell, David Johnson, with the exception of David Johnson maybe being some value as your RB3, 4 on your rosters, depending on where his ADP falls, which will probably be around the 5th round or after, because again, he did show some flashes that he was doing good. He had some good fantasy games. Like Todd Gurley, LeVeon Bell, forget it. Completely washed up. I would never put these guys on my roster. They will never bounce back to the form they were a couple years ago, where they were top, 5'10" running back, right? They have fallen off the cliff. I never see a resurgence of these guys. They're done. Over. It's done. Stick a fork, they will never bounce back. It's like a spring that's lost its ability to spring. It's like a flat spring. It's done. It's over. What happens with running backs? They hit a point. They have this pinnacle years, and they hover here, and then there's a decline, and then it's like they have a very hard time, coming back from the hole they've kind of dug for themselves. So Todd Gurley, LeVeon Bell completely out. And again, David Johnson, I'm not sold on him. He's kind of washed up too. But again, if I can get him for a value as an RB4, maybe, because he could still be the RB1 there. When you look at Houston, they're a disaster, especially when you're looking at Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram's who I'm thinking about. So David Johnson's going to be in company with Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. It's going to be a disaster of a committee. And you got Deshaun Watson, who's a bit of a mess as well. I don't trust the situation. I really, really don't trust the situation at all with David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell. Not looking for a bounce back for any of these guys. Unfortunate, because all these guys at a time were really, really good talent. For David Johnson, a small moment in time. Todd Gurley a little bit bigger, and Le'Veon Bell. What a disaster. So no bounce back. We're gonna get to Zeke and Saquon and Christian McCaffrey here, but I want to talk about Joe Mixon. I wouldn't even consider him a bounce back because he never really was up there. His pinnacle year was 2018. He had 243 attempts. Joe Mixon is not a guy that's ever been that good. He just hasn't been. If you look at his stats here, his best year again was 2018, where he peaked at 8 touchdowns. So again, just having an open discussion about this. Like, Joe Mixon was top 10 according to the consensus last year. I said, stay away from Joe Mixon. He sucks. He's not that good. 243 points was his pinnacle year, 8 touchdowns, 1,168 yards. That's his pinnacle. That's the best you'll see out of him in 2018. Suspect offense. Joe Burrow coming back. I think they're going to draft an ace wide receiver to complement T. Higgins. I mean, maybe if they make some O-line improvements, but again, it's just like, do I really trust, Joe Mixon? I think they're going to draft another running back. I really do. They've parted ways with Giovanni Bernard. They've got, Samaj P. in there, Samaj, whatever the hell his name is. I think they're going to draft another running back. Again, this is pre-NFL draft discussion. I'm never drafting Joe Mixon, a guy I've been avoiding, and rightfully so, have done well avoiding guys like him. And very, very fortunate to avoid him, so no bounce back for him. So I know you guys are asking, Zeke Elliott, bounce back, right? Let's move on to Zeke Elliott. Let's have a quick discussion about him. Now, I have some question marks about Zeke Elliott. He finished 9th, so you're saying, well, Joe, bounce back to what? Yeah, bounce back to top 5. 244 attempts, that's not enough. This is a 300 attempt running back kind of guy. Now, he did play 15 games last year, only 6 touchdowns. So here's the deal. He is safe and solid, durable, reliable, strong, the workhorse back. But Pollard was brought in. Pollard was brought in last year, and he was used. So let's look into that real quickly in regards to attempt breakdown. 101 attempts for Tony Pollard, 244 for Zeke. Those 101, let's say 50 of them could have gone to Zeke and leveled him out to a 300 attempt kind of situation. 4 rushing touchdowns for Pollard. That's too many considering Zeke had 6. Again, hoarding away 4 precious touchdowns to Zeke Elliott to push him out of the top 5 contention, right? Because he could have had way more fantasy points. Is this going to continue to be a factor? Also, you have to factor in Dak being gone. That could have hurt Zeke as well. Dak coming back, that could help get him back into form. I think Pollard's going to be a bit of thorn. They've got great not great, but they've got really good wide receivers with Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. They're going to spread the ball out. Dak's going to throw the ball. So you got to look at the scenario here and think that he is safe. Is he going to bounce back? Depends on what you're saying bounce back to. Bounce back to top 5? Probably not. I think he's going to be hovering around, finishing around 6th to 10th yet again in fantasy points if he maintains where he's at. If he gets a couple more touchdowns, again, still in and around that range, right? He finished 9th, going to probably finish around, 6th if he gets a little more volume. So Zeke Elliott, again, as safe as they come, again, durable, strong, in an offense that relatively has not changed much over the past couple years. Again, I trust him as a safe guy that you can get mid-first round. Bounce back a little bit, but again, similar to last year, maybe a little bit of an improvement, okay? Saquon and Christian McCaffrey, here's the deal with these guys. Saquon, we're only going on what we've seen in 2018. We're looking at youth. We're looking at opportunity. A lot of this is predicated on what the Giants do with the O-line. Are they going to make some improvements in the draft? There's talk about them drafting an ace wide receiver to complement Kenny Golladay and round out the wide receivers to have a good arsenal for Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones going to step up? What's going to happen here? Either way, Saquon Barkley, yes, is going to bounce back. No way but up for him, simply predicated on the fact that he was hurt last year. Now, again, we're not going on a lot here. We are literally going on 2018, a little bit of 2019 where he finished top 10. But when he finished top 10 in 2019, he still missed a few games, okay? So I'm going to pull this up here in regards to PPR here. Saquon finished top 10 in 2019, only 13 games, 217 attempts, 1,003 yards, and 6 rushing touchdowns. That was that was coming off a huge 2018 year where he absolutely crushed it and was literally the number 1 running back with 385 points, 11 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, 261 attempts. I hope he gets the volume. There's nobody else in sight that's going to come in and fight for volume. Saquon is the guy. I'm looking for a huge bounce back year. And I've got him at number 1 right now, predicated on the upside, okay? I want to see more than the 261 attempts he had in his pinnacle year in 2018. This is it. This is it for Saquon. If he doesn't do well this year, the hype is gone. I'm not going to be sold on this guy moving forward at all. This is the year you're basically drafting him on youth, opportunity, upside, and huge ceiling on a huge bounce back year. Christian McCaffrey, here's the deal. Now, we're looking at Christian McCaffrey. When you think of Christian McCaffrey, you're thinking Christian McCaffrey of 2019, where he had that 471-point season. Now we've got a new quarterback, new offense, new situation. We're going to have to see what they do. Is he going to be integrated? Are they going to draft another running back? I don't know. Again, at the time of this recording, this is pre-NFL draft. I don't know. But either way, he's going to bounce back off injury. Is he going to bounce back to the form of 2019? Hell no. 71 points is going to be very hard to duplicate no matter who you are, right? So, again, I'm not sold on Christian McCaffrey bouncing back to those numbers, but definitely bouncing back to top 5 potential predicated on volume, opportunity, and just sheer, again, talent, right? We got everything, all the elements. And again, new quarterback coming in. I don't think Darnold's the solution. It's going to be a tricky one there in Carolina with that new offense, a new quarterback, new situation. This is going to be very suspect, but again, no other running backs there to take that volume, okay? Last guy here I want to talk about here. Again, this is predicated on last year pretty much, the year before, Austin Eckler. Again, what is Austin Eckler bouncing back to? He's apparently top 10 on everybody's list. I'm not sold on Austin Eckler. What are you having him bounce back to? I'm not really thinking he's bounced back to anything other than the form that he had at the end of 2019, had a mediocre 2020 because he was injured. He's not a full workhorse running back. So a lot of people saying, well, he's top 10 this year. Based on what, right? Again, I'm not sold. So Austin Eckler is a guy I don't really trust. So, again, when you look at bounce back, you're trying to get them to bounce back to the moment where they had that pinnacle type moment in their career. Will Austin Eckler look like the guy we saw at the end of 2019? Maybe. I really like Herbert. But I would not be surprised if they didn't draft someone else there that's going to come in and get some volume. So, again, I'm not sold on Austin Eckler. Top 10, a bit of a stretch, even in PPR, for a guy that's not built to be a workhorse running back. That was a backup to Melvin Gordon. Now, you could say, Melvin Gordon, is he going to bounce back? I don't believe that Denver believes that he is the guy. So, a lot of question marks. We're going to know a little bit more after the draft, but I just want to have that kind of initial discussion on these guys. A majority of these guys are going to bounce back because they're coming off injury, but a lot of guys are kind of dead in the water, will never bounce back, okay? Again, when you are drafting, again, remember to go robust RB, which I explained in the 16-round draft, so you guys get it below. Make sure you guys subscribe and let me know in the comments, will these guys bounce back, your thought process, and what you guys are doing this season in regards to draft strategy. Are you going robust? Love to get your feedback. Smash thumbs up, guys. Get 16 rounds, and I'm looking forward to the draft. Fantasy football is finally back, guys. I'm out. Subscribe, and I will see you guys next video. Thank you. I'm out.